he doesn't stop loving them. They don't stop loving him, but it transforms.
Welcome all you drovers and English roses. It's time for another episode of the Cozy Quilt Cinema. I'm Michelle.
And I am Beth. Michelle and I love watching movies together. Every week we watch one and we talk about our experience. We talk about how it made us feel and what stuck with us. Maybe what surprised us, but I don't think we're going to get that in this one because this is a rewatch.
Woohoo!
So get your kit bag, buckle in, because we're going to go a drovin'.
Thought we were going to go walkabout.
No, that's Indigenous.
It is Indigenous. Wrong. I know, but it's such a cliche thing to say when you're talking about Australia.
That is not how the song goes at all.
No, but that is the name of the movie, the 2008 Baz Luhrmann film epic.
Yes, Baz Luhrmann is the director.
Yes.
He is also the writer.
Yes.
The choreographer.
And musician, and he might have done craft services at one point in the film.
I hear he made a great bacon pancake.
I heard it was his bolognese.
On his bacon pancakes.
Making pancakes.
He did all the CGI himself.
Yes.
No, none of this is true.
It's just Baz Luhrmann is... He doesn't know how to do things. He's like me in the kitchen. He doesn't know how to make small amounts of anything.
I think he would have been really good at writing vaudeville.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We are talking about the 2008 Australia, which is a 4 bajillion hour film.
It is very long. And fortunately for you, this podcast won't be that long.
It is the tamest version of Eyes Wide Shut.
I wouldn't go that far. Oh, man. Why
don't you hit us with the IMDb? You forgot it, didn't you?
I did forget.
I
forgot I was doing it.
Yeah.
I don't have my phone.
Go get your phone. I'm going to pause it right here, but I'm not editing this out.
You do that. Okay. So, the IMDb says, in Northern Australia, at the beginning of World War II, an English aristocrat inherits a cattle station the size of Maryland. When English cattle barons plot to take her land, she reluctantly joins forces with a rough stock man to drive 2,000 head of cattle across hundreds of miles of the country's most unforgiving land, only to still face the bombing of Darwin by the Japanese forces that had attacked Pearl Harbor only months earlier. And that was by Anonymous. Except I don't think they were English cattle barons. They were Australian cattle barons, right?
No, they were English.
They were English too?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's where I got a little confused. I just thought they were just...
I believe they were. Yeah. I think they were
King
all
Carney?
English.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were...
Carney, well...
See, I thought King Carney...
I think he was
Australian. Yeah, because he had, thick Australian accent. So, yeah.
He was.
So it was the...
So really, they're all English.
If you go back, ancestry, yes. I couldn't get the word ancestry.
They're not Indigenous.
No, they're not.
English there.
So before we get into this, though, I want to give a disclaimer. This movie does talk about the stolen generation. It does address a little bit about that. I mean, it is a plot point. And it is not historically accurate. So anybody who wants to think it is, you're way off the mark. Darwin was bombed. It was not occupied. There was no missionary island. But the important thing is that this doesn't fully address the dichotomy of the way the Aboriginal people were treated, even in this time period, like the 1939 era to 1941 that this takes place. It doesn't address that. It doesn't address their lifestyle. It just addresses them as being ancillary characters in the story. Yeah. So just a heads up on that one, if this is something that is a concern or an offense.
We will be providing links to the Lost Generation, which is the Stolen Generation. It wasn't lost.
No, they knew where they were.
Yeah.
They just didn't care. Much like they did the same thing to the Indigenous people here.
So how did this sweeping epic make you feel?
So I I was a huge Australian nerd when I was a kid. I wanted to go to Australia so much until I learned that things can kill you there. And no offense to Australia, but I really don't want to go there now. It's too hot. I don't like the heat now that I'm older, and I don't really like it. And I've already lived in 2 deserts. I don't need to be addressing another hot lifestyle. But I really enjoyed this movie. I looked forward to seeing it. I love Baz Luhrmann. We all know if you listen to our Strictly Ballroom episode, I am a huge Baz Luhrmann fan. Have I seen all of his work? No, but the ones I have seen, I just love. I really enjoyed this. It was very emotion driven, I feel, and then this movie just kind of pulled me along with it. I really invested in the characters when I first saw it, and it has lingered with me, which is why I wanted to do this movie. Like if you know, every once in a while I'll be like, oh my God, Australia, have you ever seen this movie? It's epic. And I will, I'll tell people about this movie. So this has been one of my favorites.
So how did it make you feel?
Angry.
Okay.
In a good way. I should be outraged for the treatment of people. I should be outraged as a white person, or even as any person. You should be outraged about the idea of babies being taken from their families because they don't fit a mold that is perceived by another race. We shouldn't treat people the way we treat them. I was angry about the way the Aboriginal people are just thrown away and how they were thrown away. I didn't know what the movie was missing the first time I saw it. Like, I didn't know the historical inaccuracies of it. I didn't know it was meant to be anything historical other than just a fantasy film about Australia. So for me, it was, I loved it. And it opened my eyes to a world I did not understand fully, if that makes sense.
Okay.
How did it make you feel?
Ambivalent.
Okay.
It was a very, for me, boring film when I first saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care anything about it. I sat through a whole afternoon of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't happy about it. It was boring.
It does take a long time.
I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't even realize there were Aborigines people in it. If that tells you anything.
Yes.
All I knew was Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman were going to give each other googly eyes. And that was about it.
Yeah.
That's how I felt before.
Okay.
So let's move on to the director and the actors.
So our friend Baz there, his name I didn't realize, and I don't know why it didn't dawn on me the last time. I knew his name was Mark, but he changed his name in 2019 to Baz Mark.
Yeah, it's Baz Mark Anthony Luhrmann.
AC.
Sure.
Because he has the it's the Companion of the Order of Australia, I think. It's kind of like their high honor.
Yeah. So he also did Strictly Ballroom in 1992, Moulin Rouge 2001, The Great Gatsby 2013, and Elvis 2022.
Yeah,
Weird.
I don't have any interest in seeing Elvis. I think that might be the only Baz Luhrmann.
Is it Elvis in Australia? Because it's the only thing I can think of that he would do.
I think it's just a biopic,
I have no idea. All right, so we know that Strictly Ballroom and Moulin Rouge are in the same world, right?
I don't know that for sure.
But is it part of the Red Was it the Red Curtain?
Yes, it is part of the Red Curtain. Yes.
Yeah.
The Red... Yeah, I forget what he calls it because he does use that same, the Red Curtain. I don't think he uses that for Australia.
He doesn't?
Don't believe he does.
Okay. I thought it was in the same...
Honestly,
maybe...
I had forgotten about the Red Curtain thing.
Okay.
Because it didn't come up with Australia, so I actually forgot about it.
So maybe it's not in the same world?
Yeah,
but it
I don't...
seems so... Okay, let's say, for the sake of argument...
Okay.
The historical inaccuracies, the odd caricatures...
Yes.
Make it part of that world, part of its history. So Strictly Ballroom takes place well after Australia.
Yes.
And Australia, the
takes
movie
place
itself.
Well after Moulin Rouge.
Right.
So maybe.
Maybe it's in the same world.
Let's just say that's our new headcanon.
Yeah,
it's all in the same world. And
now.
Nicole Kidman has a doppelganger. So, I mean, in 2 out of the 3.
Ancestor.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, you know how there's sometimes ancestors, they look alike. And
yeah.
But that would make sense because Satine in Moulin Rouge, no, she dies. Never mind.
So before he made Australia, though, he was developing a film about Alexander the Great that was going to star Leonardo DiCaprio and Nicole Kidman again.
He loves her.
He even built a studio in the northern Sahara Desert for it.
Wow.
And then Oliver Stone beat him to it with his own Alexander film, That Son of a Bitch. And the whole project collapsed. So instead, Baz turned his gaze toward his homeland. And that is how Australia was made.
Oh.
He gave birth to it.
What?
Which was very difficult birth. It's a very large land, and he was completely wrung out.
I mean, honestly, the contractions were days. There's not an epidural big enough. So this movie stars Nicole Kidman, who plays Lady Sarah Ashley.
Right, and I didn't realize she was actually a noble. Lady Sarah?
Oh, yeah, Lady Sarah, yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't realize she was actually noble, just rich.
Yes, because he was Lord Maitland Ashley. And
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
That's something that slipped by.
Okay.
She was in Eyes Wide Shut, which I mentioned before, in 1999.
Yes.
Moulin Rouge, 2001. Yes. And The Hours, 2002.
So my 2 favorites of hers is obviously Practical Magic and Far and Away with her ex-husband. It's the only Tom Cruise movie that will ever get a pass with me. Okay. Is Far and Away.
Far and Away, another Australia thing?
No. No, Ireland. It starts in Ireland.
It's Ireland? Okay.
Yes.
I have no idea. I never saw it.
Weirdly, they both have Irish accents. It's not a bad movie. It's actually very sweet, but again, long movie.
I just never saw it. I wasn't making a commentary about it.
I was in an epic movie thing, romantic, long movies.
That's fine.
So then we have Hugh Jackman, who plays Drover. And normally I would gush about him, but we found out some questionable information about him recently, and so we're just going to leave it at that.
Makes it very hard. He was in X-Men 2000 as Wolverine. The Prestige. I say Prestige. It's Prestige.
Prestige.
Yeah, not G.
Yeah, I know, but everybody says Prestige.
In 2006, Les Miserables. Les Miserables.
Les Mis.
Jesus. That's why everybody says Les Mis.
Oh, yeah, because it's hard to say unless you're French.
I know, and I am not French.
I like to piss people off and say Les Miserables.
And that was in 2012.
Yes.
And it took that long from then to now for me to say the last thing right.
So my favorite is with him and Meg Ryan in Kate and Leopold. It's an older one, but Kate and Leopold. He comes
Holy shit, I forgot about that film. I forgot it existed. Did I wipe it from my memory?
Apparently.
Oh, wait.
It was a sweet
I remember Nuclear Codes now.
Oh, no.
Oh, I think you've unlocked something.
Uh-oh.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
We'll have to come back to this.
Okay. So he was in, and this is going to be a long-going theme with a few of our actors, but he was one of the voices. He played the voice of Bunny in Rise of the Guardians, which I love Rise of the Guardians. It is the Jack Frost one. But there's another movie called The Guardians of Ga'Hoole. Legend of the Guardians of the Owls of Ga'Hoole. It's a long title. It's unnecessary. It's based on a children's book series. One of our sons was really obsessed with it for a minute, and but it's often because they both came out very close in time.
They get mixed
up. So he is the only one in this list who is in the Legends of the Guardians, and he played the Easter Bunny.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay. Brandon Walters, who played Nulla.
Nulla was in...
Not much.
Not much. Australia, which was his film debut. And then Faraway Downs.
So, yeah, which he really... it wasn't like a refilm. So Faraway Downs is like... what they did was they took all of the cut scenes that they took out of the movie, because the movie was not long enough, and made it into a series. I don't like it only because I don't like the ending in Faraway Downs, even though it's supposed to be the true ending, and it makes me angry. So we'll just ignore that. Unfortunately, Brandon, so Nicole Kidman adored him from what I read. She adored this kid and said he was going to go so far, he was going to go places. Unfortunately, Brandon has had problems with alcoholism, drunk driving, in and out of jail as an adult. So he is no longer acting as far as I know.
Yeah. And, you know, it's easy to feel bad for people who are not doing the thing that you knew them in.
Mm-hmm.
But if you see an actor and they're working as a accountant or something like that, maybe take into account that their lives aren't based around your knowledge of them.
Oh, exactly.
And they're just living their lives, and they're probably really happy.
I think with Brandon, unfortunately, he might have succumbed to the whole child star thing.
It's possible. I do know that he killed it.
Oh, God, that little boy, when he was in that, I mean, that was...
He absolutely knocked it out of the park.
He's adorable. I mean, those big eyes. I mean, he's just a baby. I love it. Well, we have David Gopalil, which I looked up. I did say that correctly. It's Gopalil. And he plays King George.
Right. He was in Walkabout, 1971. Crocodile Dundee,
yep, he played
1986. The Tracker in 2002.
So he did a lot of cliche movies and parts, but he was very true to he's passed away, unfortunately, and he's always stayed very true to his Aboriginal roots. Quite an awesome guy, honestly, anthropologist, just out there.
Yeah.
He was out there making a difference. We have Brian Brown, who played King Carney.
Right. He was in Breaker Morant in 1980. FX in 1986, and Cocktail 1988. I threw some weird ones.
I know, and I did not do for everybody, picking out movies and stuff. We have David Wenham, who played Neil Fletcher.
That son of a bitch.
I was going to say, as we like to call him, the asshole.
Oh, fucking, I was so mad at him the entire thing, and if I saw him in real life, I'd still be mad at him.
Yeah.
But he's not a bad guy.
He's not. But the character is
just despicable.
I know.
He was in Lord of the Rings,
yes, he
Two
was.
Towers, Return of the King, and Van Helsing. Everyone was in Van Helsing, apparently. And he was in 300.
But he was, in Lord of the Rings, though, he was Faramir.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Faramir. And he was also in Legends of the Guardians, the Owls of Ga'Hoole.
Yeah, David himself can get it.
Oh, God, yes. But Neil Fletcher's a piece of trash.
His character, he did a really great job of making me hate him.
Oh, yes, he did. Because I love Faramir. Because when you meet Faramir, you already know what Boromir was about. And yes, Boromir had his arc of forgiveness, but he was dying, at that moment.
But also, one does not simply walk into Mordor.
No, I mean, he wasn't wrong about that. But Faramir was always like, I am the better of the brothers. And so,
I know.
And I forgot that was him.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
He really dives into his character.
He really is. He does. I got to give him that much. we have Jack Thompson, who played Kipling Flynn.
Yeah, he was in Breaker Morant again. So, we're going to have a lot of repeats. Australians, okay?
They're just like English, where they, there's only so many.
The Man from Snowy River.
Oh, okay.
Love that movie. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, which is another good movie.
Yeah, we need to put that on the list. I don't think we have that on the list.
Really, we do. Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and I cannot for the life of me think of where he was.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
I just don't know.
But he's not the only Star Wars alum.
No, not at all.
So, next we have an Baz Luhrmann alum, Barry Otto, a.k.a. Doug!
So, yeah, he was in Strictly Ballroom, The Punisher, and The Legend of the Guardians
of Gahoo.
Gahoo.
Yeah, so you're going to get that a lot in this episode as well. And he was in Strictly Ballroom. He played Doug.
Yeah.
Another person who was also in Strictly Ballroom was Bill Hunter. He played Barry Fife in Strictly Ballroom.
Yeah, he did, like you said, Strictly Ballroom, but also The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Yes. He was also the voice of the dentist in Finding Nemo. And he was also in Legends of the Guardians, The Owls of Gahul.
Guess what?
What?
You're never going to believe this. He was in Faraway Downs.
I would
know,
never
it's
guess.
crazy. It's
So,
almost like
he has a little
the
tiny
same
piece.
cast over and over.
Our dog is tippy tapping through.
We don't know where we stopped. The dog came in. We're going to keep talking. So, yeah, things happen. Faraway Downs. We know where we're at.
That's what I was saying. Is he had a very small part, but I love the fact that Bill Hunter and Barry Otto. Barry Otto's part was a little tiny bit bigger. He was the administrator.
Yeah.
But him and the skipper, they were both in Strictly Ballroom. And again, my love. Again, I have more people on here. I have Essie Davis, who played Kath, who was also in Guardians of Gahul. Ben Mendelsohn, who was in Rogue One.
Sure.
Rogue
One was a great film. We should definitely do that at some point.
He was also, though, because he played Orson Krennic, and so anything that they have with that generation, that era of Star Wars, he's back in it, and he plays the same character. So Andor and stuff like that. He was also Talos in Captain Marvel. Honorable mentions, because I did not go deeply into their backgrounds. They really didn't have a lot that I recognized. They did a lot of TV work and or stage work. And that is Ursula Jovich, who played Daisy, and Lillian Crombie, who played Bandy. And they were the two Aboriginal women in the film. Okay. So I wanted to give them at least a nod.
Yeah.
That they are seen.
So... we did the thing. We did directors. We did actors.
Yes, we did.
Let's talk about the movie. It is so long.
So long.
But I tell you what, this time, while it was super long, it was better because we had pauses.
We did. we had dog potty breaks. We had people potty breaks. We had snack breaks. We had mail arriving breaks. So, I mean, yes, we did take breaks.
I think this movie is built for the big screen. And it does not necessarily, in the scope or the epic nature of it, do it justice to have it on anything less than the biggest screen you could possibly find.
Oh, no. It is Australia. So it is massive.
It is CGI Australia. It is real life Australia.
You cannot flip a cow off of a cliff and not have somebody be pissed about it. So we have to have some CGI at least.
The fire CGI.
The fire is, but it's not in a bad way. Like it's not like it's CGI just because logic, and we know how movies work.
Old. It's older, so it doesn't have the detail that, of course, we get now.
But it's not like so noticeable that you're going, oh God.
Well, of
it's not like,
course.
it's not Torchwood, Gwen bringing Reese down the
Yeah,
elevator.
there are different levels of
Oh, yeah.
bad, but this isn't bad. It's just
No.
noticeable, and that's what I'm saying.
And honestly, if you hadn't pointed it out, I would not have noticed it because I don't pay attention to movies that deeply.
Oh, yeah, I'm always like, well, they weren't in danger of getting burned.
Yeah, so I don't pay attention to that because I just don't.
No safety crew had to hold a safety meeting and say, there's going to be a fire here because it's invisible and
Yes.
undetectable because it doesn't exist.
Yes.
But that's okay.
So, as we said in the IMDb, the movie is basically this English lord has he owns Faraway Downs, which is a station. It's a cattle station, and wife is like, no, I'm done with this. He needs to come home, or we're gonna sell it. He needs to get his ass back to England, and so she's pissed and she goes to Australia. But by the time she gets to Australia, even though they were communicating, he is dead before she gets there, and it looks like King George, aka the Aboriginal man who people are concerned about, he killed him because he had a glass tip arrow or spear through his chest.
Right.
But Nulla saw a man grab, because he went underwater and the body fell on top of him in the water, and he sees these alligator boots. And why he didn't recognize them immediately, I don't know, but he did not until much later in the movie when he sees them again. But you know damn well that man's been wearing those. He's proud of those bitches because he wears them all the freaking time. Because it's the Australian is it the outback? Because I don't know what part is considered the outback.
I mean, the outback would be the place out back.
Okay, I swear to God.
So you have the town, you have the civilized area.
Okay.
The outback would be everything outside of that.
Well, that's what I wasn't sure. Like, is it?
That's like saying the country here.
Okay, well, see, that's what I wanted to know. Like, is it a designated area? I don't know enough. Again, as much as I was obsessed with Australia,
I mean,
when I started to learn about the animals, I went, oh, yeah, I don't need to know more about that.
I know how much will kill me if I go there.
Exactly.
And that is enough for me.
Apparently, Nicole Kidman saved, this was one of my clues last week, was she saved Hugh Jackman's life because a poisonous scorpion was in his sleeping bag in one point, and she took her hat and she scooped it up and threw it into the woods. And then they were like, "Why didn't you kill venomous? Sorry,
venomous.
It was deadly. Venomous. Is what they kept saying was deadly. My brain said, yeah. I know if you eat it, it's poisonous. If they bite you, then it's venomous. Yes, I get that.
Yeah, but
I knew
all scorpions are.
Yes.
So,
but this was a deadly one.
Sure.
And I mean,
because it's Australian.
And I have experienced desert scorpions, as have you, and I don't want to deal with anything that's going to murder me and be pokey pinchy in the middle of the night.
I actually didn't find them that annoying. You just have to remember to get them out of your boots.
It wasn't even the boots, it was how brazen they were walking across your wall or in your bathtub and
in your cot on top of your in your sleeping bag.
Oh yeah, you have to check your sheets every night.
Yeah.
And I mean, I lived in a house, and we still had to make sure everything was, because they would get in the house. We'd have geckos walking across the wall. Maybe you would type it on your computer and look up and you'd see tick, 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 little gecko.
Adorable.
I know, little wild gecko running across your.
They're so sweet.
We don't even know how they would get in half the time, but geez, they would get in. So and she gets there. Her husband's dead, and then she finds out that they're the little boy, he sings to her, and that's what I love is how Nulla, he calls her to him. Now you can see me because I sang to you. He has because King George is his grandfather and is teaching him the ways of his people. And the thing about Nulla is and he says this in the very beginning of the movie, because he's basically our narrator throughout the whole movie.
Right.
Is he's not a black fella, he's not a white fella. And they call him creamy, and I hate that. It's adorable from an American point of view because I don't know any better. But knowing now what I know, it is horrible it's offensive, but he's so cute. And to me, anything creamy is something adorable, and I want to eat it.
So the movie itself, very epic, very sweeping, but it has a lot of personal feelings involved in it.
Definitely.
There are a lot of things that I of course, missed the first time because I didn't really watch it the first time.
Yeah.
I only really watched it for real when we watched Faraway Downs.
Yeah, and even then you were playing a video game and I was watching it mostly.
Right, but I was listening to it the whole time. So I was like, wait, what?
When did that happen?
Yes. I was like, is this a completely different film?
Yeah.
No, it's the same thing. It's just broken up.
Mm-hmm.
But, with a different ending.
Yes.
But for me, so it's the Aboriginal thing is going to be a problem all the way through this.
Oh, definitely.
It goes against every, bone of justice in me, which is all of them. I absolutely despise how they're treated in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How any person is treated based on either who they are, how they look, is just kind of ridiculous.
Oh, definitely.
But it's highlighted in the movie in different ways. So you have the casual racism, which is them calling them offhandedly creamy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry if that word is offensive. I'm very sorry, but we have to use some of this in order to tell the tale.
Especially because we do have our American audience does not know, per se, unless they've seen this movie, that is an offensive
They need to
term.
understand that there's...
Because we have our own offensive terms for people who are of mixed color.
But the bar scenes are the very stark reality of the racism. They're not allowed in the bar.
Mm-hmm. And the
women are not even allowed in the bar. Women have to go to a separate lounge.
Yes, the hen lounge. The hen lounge, which I always hate when they call women hens.
Right, because what they care about is whether or not you can lay eggs for them.
Yeah, that you're a breeder.
Yeah.
And Drover is, because he doesn't care if you're Aboriginal or white or whatever, they see him as no better than being an Aborigine or a black person. Because they even say that to him. To us, you're black.
Now, I'm going to say something that's very controversial. This is in almost every single way a white knight film.
Oh, definitely.
The white people are there to save everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So long as they know their place.
Mm-hmm. And that's...
But I want to point out that in the end, it's King George who actually saves somebody.
Oh, yeah.
He saves his grandson.
Yes.
And he does it... I know I'm jumping to the end, but I really don't care because we're not doing a blow by blow.
Yeah, so...
But he kills the bad guy.
Oh, he does.
The douchebag. With the white man's spear.
Mm-hmm.
So when he kills Lord...
Maitland Ashley, yes.
Yeah, Lord Ashley, with the glass-tipped spear that is an Aboriginal...
Weapon, yeah.
Weapon of, the warrior?
Yes.
Of their warriors?
Yes.
And it's rare.
Mm-hmm. It was a decoration on the wall of Lord Ashley's... Oh, of Faraway Downs.
Right. So when he does that, all through this movie, it gets pointed out over and over again.
Yes, King George did it. It was the Aborigine who did it, and
because of the glass spear.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, when King George kills him, he does it with not a special thing. No. It is a pipe. It is a piece of brass or copper pipe. Mm-hmm. I think it's a copper.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a pipe. I think it's just a rod that happens to have a bit of a tip on it.
Yeah.
He takes it off the tower and kills him with a mundane item of white men.
Yep. And that is the poetic justice of it. Because King George he ends up being arrested at some point, and that's when Nulla ends up getting captured and brought to the missionary island. So biggest fear that Nulla has, being that he is part white and part black, is that they're going to take him and bring him to the missionary island, which does not really exist. But it's, again, I don't want to say a metaphor, because it's not a metaphor, but it is there to, it's a plot point. It is there to show the audience who does not know Australian history, who, again, us Americans, we don't learn other countries' histories, because why should we? We don't even know our own. So yeah, the island exists for the plot point, and that is where they send these.
Well, I think it's also to show the separation.
It is, yeah.
Because they're taking these children not away to a camp, not away to a place where they actually are learning or something. It's there to indoctrinate them.
Mm-hmm. To turn them into either, they brought them to foster families.
If you read the end of this movie, it tells you that the government finally, and I think it was like something way too late, 1960, 1970.
Oh, no, I'll tell you the numbers in a minute, yeah.
Yeah, they stopped doing the indoctrination, the assimilation into the culture of white people. They stopped trying to assimilate Aborigine people forcibly.
Yes.
But that's what they were doing, not just into the white idea of society, but also into their religions, which is, I think, much worse than anything else, is trying to force them into a religion and making them lose their own path.
So if you listen to us over on Folkloric, you'll know that, I am witchy and so is Beth, but we have different ways of how we are witchy. And for me, I love, and I know Beth does too, to a certain degree, I love looking at and learning about the magics of our past and different cultures, and not so much appropriating their magics, but just learning about how the things that are lost. I think that's what it comes down to. And when we appropriate a people and we take away their children and we take away their beliefs and create quote unquote Christians, and again, I'm not trying to knock any religion, but we should never take people away from their beliefs and their cultures when it comes to stuff like this. Because in reality, it wasn't just children who were half black, half white, the way the movie makes it sound. These were Aboriginal children and Torres Strait Islander children that were taken between 1905 and 1967 to 1970, because they said that some of them were still taken up
Right.
into 1970.
Right.
The statistics of this were 1 in 10 to 1 in 3 children were taken, and that not a single Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander is not affected by this, even to this day.
It's important to understand that this sweeping movie, this huge epic film, it has romance in it. It has a lot of things happening. It's a war movie. It's a romantic
It's
film.
an action film.
But the main thrust of it isn't any of that.
Nope.
It is about the stolen generations. It is repeated over and over again throughout the movie, minute by minute. There's not a moment you're not going to hear Nala telling you that he's afraid of being taken.
Exactly.
And he's not being listened to,
No.
not even by his own people, until it happens. And that is a theme very personal. There's a personal stake in this. As a white person, I don't have that, but I do have other things. And, trans people have been saying for a while now, we're going to be taken. We're telling you this is going to happen. And while people hear the words, they're not actually hearing our song.
No.
They're not listening to us. and they say, oh, it's going to be fine. That'll never happen.
Your fears are unfounded.
But they said that when they were before they started taking brown people, and they're taking brown people.
Yep.
So it's important to listen to the people who are telling you it's going to happen. We've seen it before. It's been happening. And Nala says this throughout the film, that he's afraid of being taken.
Yep.
And yet people still treat him as if he's just every other kid, which is great, except for the fact they don't try to hide him. He has to hide himself.
That's the thing, is they don't hide him. He hides himself. First, he's got so much freedom for such a little guy. And I kind of get why Lady Ashley is so reticent to let him go walk about with King George, because she's afraid of what's going to happen to him. This is later in the movie, and that kind of upsets Drover, and it upsets, when this is like after they get the first head of their cattle to the army, and
right.
And they're back in faraway downs, and she's turned it into this beautiful little oasis in the middle of a desert, and she doesn't want to let go, because now she is very, very invested in this little boy. And we find out in the story that she can't have her own children, and she wants to adopt him. She wants to raise him. And so she's afraid that if he goes walkabout with George, that something bad's going to happen. But King George would never let anything happen to him, granted, he gets taken when he's with King George. But that was a lot of circumstances.
Outside, you can't stop bad things from happening, and that's the whole point of walkabout in the first place.
And you can't take a child. So dealing with trauma and he watched his mother die. She drowned when they were both hiding in the water tower.
Right.
Daisy was trying to protect him, and the water tower began to fill up because it hadn't been before, but they fixed it. And then the cops were there, and they were using the fucking water, and it was filling up the tank, and Daisy drowned in the tank, and Nulla watched his mother drown. So this kid has trauma. He's been chased. He's been hunted. His father, who unfortunately is Neil Fletcher, it does not acknowledge him, beats his mom. There's abuse. That this is happening. Children with trauma cannot be expected to sit, to behave a specific way. They are always on fight or flight. Their brains are always exposed. They're always having that amygdala reaction. They flip their lids. They're going. It's teaching them the regulation, and he has never known the safety, because his own mother would let him go because she knew that he needed to be free to go with his grandfather. But she also didn't want him around Neil, so she would let him, be free. And then here comes Lady Ashley, and she is coming from this British background of, children should be home and learning, and they shouldn't be.
Society.
Oh,
entirely.
Definitely. So I get why she's panicked about it, but then she should not be. She's just as guilty about denying him his culture.
Well, I want to point out that the scene where they're in the water tower and his mother drowns while trying to keep him hidden.
Mm-hmm.
This is happening at the same time, approximately, that Jewish people are dying, starving, hiding in the walls, hiding in attics and basements.
This is 1939.
So it's not just Nazis.
No.
That are causing people to die because they are marginalized, because they are hunted, because they are illegal.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot be in society with good, decent white people. So it's important to understand that it's not just this one thing. Nazism is bad. Racism is a much larger concept.
And it has been around a lot longer. and it's going to take a
Well,
lot.
Nazism developed from...
Oh, yeah, through racism.
From racism. In fact, it came from the United States.
Oh, I read something off topic, but not quite. Have you ever read the letter that J.R.R. Tolkien wrote to, I forget who it was, but this Nazi who asked him if he was Jewish?
No.
I will share. I actually have a copy of it because I wanted to share it with you because I didn't know if you had seen it. I can read it really fast.
Okay, go ahead.
If it's cool. I thought
It's
this...
your podcast.
I know.
I just live here.
I know. This I thought was fantastic. Let me get my glasses off because I'm old and I can't read with my glasses on anymore.
It's weird.
I know, isn't it? Okay. So it is to William Vaudrey. Okay. Oh no, sorry. William Vaudrey is who reported it, who saved this.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, William.
Besmirch William here.
It doesn't say who he wrote it to or who wrote it to him first and then he wrote back.
Yeah.
What it says is, "Dear sirs, thank you for your letter. I regret that I am not clear as to what you intend by," and I'm going to mispronounce this, Arisch, Arisch, A-R-I-S-C-H. Arik? Because I'm assuming it's German.
Question, but I
okay,
don't know.
But he explains. He goes, "I am not of Aryan extraction. That is Indo-Iranian. As far as I'm aware, none of my ancestors spoke Hindustani, Persian, Gypsy, or any related dialects. But if I am to understand that you are inquiring whether I am of Jewish origin, I can only reply that I regret that I appear to have no ancestors of that gifted people. My great-great-grandfather came to England in the 18th century from Germany. The main part of my descent is, therefore, purely English, and I am an English subject, which should be sufficient. I have been accustomed, nonetheless, to regard my German name with pride, and continue to do so throughout the period of the late regrettable war, in which I served in the English army. I cannot, however, forbear to comment that if impertinent and irrelevant inquiries of this sort are to become the rule in matters of literature, then the time is not far distant when a German name will no longer be a source of pride. Your inquiry is doubtless made in order to comply with the laws of your own country, but that this should be held to apply to subjects of another state would be improper, even if it had, as it has not, any bearing whatsoever on the merits of my work or its substantiability for publication, sorry, big words, of which you appear to have satisfied yourself without reference to my," and another German word, Abstammung. "I trust you will find this reply satisfactory and remain yours faithfully, J.R.R. Tolkien." And basically, that was a mic drop.
It's the longest "go fuck you, buddy."
It really was, but it was so eloquently read because I did not know that Aryan means Indo-Iranian.
Yeah.
And the fact that they use it, and even the frickin' Aryan Nation and the neo-Nazis.
Yeah,
and
but it's much like the swastika. It has been colonized, has been taken over by the ideology of Nazism.
Yes. So yeah, that was my rant, and it kind of is relevant because we're talking about racism, but also and Nazis, but also J.R.R. Tolkien and Faramir. So
well, it's just that in this movie you have the bad guys, but also you have the bad guys. So the bad guys are coming in, but they're not just the bad guys. They're like this larger force. It's almost like they're not touched by it until the planes hit.
Yes.
So until the planes come, they're not really touched by the war so much as they're ready for something.
Well, yes. So if you do know your history, 1939, while the Japanese were involved, they had not brought America into the war yet. And the Pacific was a battleground, but not as much so as
they
Europe.
Hadn't violated to any extent, American waters.
Exactly. And honestly, and I could be very wrong about this, but I don't think that they thought the Japanese could get to Australia with their planes based on the lack of like
Oh yeah, I
spots
have
in between.
no idea, but it's a really long flight
for those little planes too. And so, I mean, taking when the Pacific Front was hitting and they did go after Pearl Harbor and drug the Americans involved, and then they could pick up other islands, it would give them the ability to island hop to get to Australia. So that would make more sense why they didn't fear, and they weren't really talking about it. They mention it early on, and I love how they pan across the map from Australia to England, and you see the Nazi flag over Europe, there that one part, and then you see the British flag over the UK. But when he's telling her, when she's like, I'm coming to Australia, and he's saying, don't, it's dangerous, there's a war going on, and she kind of ignores him because she's going to an area that she knows isn't gonna, I'm gonna get there,
right?
Because again, they weren't afraid of it. It was happening in Europe mostly, and the Japanese were not going to be able to get to them. Not then. My ex-father-in-law was at Truck Island.
Okay.
He was in the Navy during World War II, and he was stationed at Truck Island. He said what they did there was, after the war, was they literally pushed all the vehicles into the ocean.
Yeah, I can imagine. So there was nothing else to do with it.
Yeah, they couldn't get the vehicles. They just dumped them into they siphoned off all the fluids. I'm surprised they did that. And he said they pushed them into the ocean. Like, I always thought that was pretty, like, I've never heard that before, so that was new to me, and I always kept that little story. He never talked about the war, but when he did, he'd give these little weird nuggets.
It's always going to be non sequiturs with most people who served.
Oh, yeah.
So, the main thing in this film we talked about, but the romantic part is about the drover and the lady fair.
Yes, because, she's now a widow.
Right. It's okay now. She's wearing black. I'm glad she brought that.
When the best scene, though, is the truck in the beginning when she's so pissed off, and she's wearing these elbow-high leather gloves in the freaking outback. It is just, I was hot watching her.
Yeah.
And she's like enamored by the kangaroo until the dude up on the top shoots one, and then they end up eating it that night. She's like, you just want to get with me, So it's like she's, like we were saying earlier,
she's Bridget Fonda at the first of Lake Placid.
Oh my God, she totally is.
I just don't like mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes. And it's funny because we were saying how there's a lot of caricatures, and in this, and I think it
starts as a caricature.
Yes, and a lot of Baz, if you look at Strictly Ballroom, and even when you look at Moulin Rouge, and I really only even Romeo and Juliet, even though it is not my favorite version of Romeo and Juliet, not that I'm a purist, but it's just not my favorite. When you look at how Baz Luhrmann introduces his characters, it is in this movie is very Baz Luhrmann-ish. It is quick, it is fast, and they are always kind of caricatures.
But there's also this. It's the face shots.
Yes.
Where they push their face.
Yeah.
Not only does the camera hit their face, but they push their face at the camera.
Oh, yes.
With a very big expression.
Yes.
And that is a very Baz Luhrmann thing to do, especially in Ballroom.
Yeah, Strictly Ballroom, and he does the same thing in Moulin Rouge.
Right. And I think that all of that is something to take you out of the idea that this is going to be a serious film.
Yes.
It throws you off. You see that, and you're expecting this to be what's throughout the film.
Mm-hmm.
It is the amuse-bouche to the seriousness that you're going to hit about, I think, halfway through the film.
Yeah, when they are...
There's a very certain point in which it turns serious.
I think it's after Flynn dies.
When Flynn is trampled,
that
is when the caricatures just, not just the caricatures, but also the humor suddenly stops.
Which is kind of sad that it didn't happen when Daisy died, but it happened when the white man died. And that I thought about that when we were watching it, because it doesn't turn after Daisy dies. There's still some lightheartedness. There's still some caricatureness. And you still see, Lady Ashley being, very, very cliche. It is a movie of cliches. So cliche British. And, where a lot of people were offended by King George being a cliche of a time gone. Like, they called it pre-colonial relic. But I think that was,
that's intentional because he's himself.
Yeah,
He's
really, David's playing.
He wasn't assimilated into the culture into white people's society.
Yeah, man's not wearing pants.
That's not a. They can see that as a criticism, but it's not a criticism because that's actually a good thing.
Oh yeah, I think it's important that he was, again, we're not part of that culture. So for us, being exposed to any aspect of it is good. There is no negativity. So even if it's considered a cliche, I would want at least even a cliche to be.
I don't think it's a cliche. I think it is. He is exactly the person he is. And to think that it's cliche is to say that from a colonizer's aspect.
That is true.
To say that it's cliche is to say that, oh, well, it's always a medicine man. No, this is one medicine man. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of examples in this film of other Aborigine.
Yep.
And he just happens to be, I don't know if they call him a medicine man.
No, I forget they call him...
but a magic man of some kind. But he is who he is. And the reason why he's wanting his grandson to come on Walkabout is so that he can teach him his ways. He was already starting, but he has to become a man so that he can continue teaching him. And let's face it, Nulla does not deserve to be taken away from his culture.
No.
He doesn't deserve to be taken away from his family. His actual family's right there.
Yeah. Bandy is his grandmother. Daisy is his mother. And King George is his grandfather. He has... even maybe extended family. I can't believe I can't remember his name. The gentleman who dies on the beach. I can't forget his name. But there's other Aboriginal people, and that's not even including Drover and Lady Ashley. So having this, he has a support system. This kid has a great support system, and they were still going to take him away. I adore how much, like when he says, so after Lady Ashley and Drover and the whole gang, minus Kipling, deliver the cattle, the cheeky bulls, to the army, and they're back at Faraway Downs and the oasis that she's built and everything. Apparently the sheriff or cop, whatever he was, he would come and have tea with her. And Nulla said that there must have been some magic in the tea that made his eyes blind and he didn't see Nulla.
Right.
And so later on, when he's captured, he said he must not have been drinking the lady boss's tea because he could see him again.
Right.
And it broke my heart that he's the innocence. This child believes in the magic of the world, and you could see the innocence in this child and how it was slowly cracking. And that to me is also very upsetting.
Well, it's like when they're taking to the island.
Mm-hmm.
So when they take the children to the island, and of course,
they knew that they even said that island was going to get hit first.
Yeah, because they're expendable.
Yes, and I think, and again, that's another. There were a few critics when I was doing my research that with this movie, they were very critical of that as well. Well, it didn't exist, but that's not the point. It is a plot point. It is to put a focus on these children that were taken.
It's to explain that they are expendable.
Yes, and because they were taken and they were scattered in reality. Yeah. So you can't really show that in a film. You know, you would have to follow him further and further. And this movie was already epic, and we didn't need that. So having an island of convenience.
It's isolating.
Yes.
It's a way to isolate them. It is a way to show how isolating it is to them emotionally.
They're all wearing the same little pale blue polo shirts and shorts.
Assimilation into a society.
Yeah. And, you know, they're living in these little bunkhouses, and there's
taught
priests.
to sing their songs.
Their songs, not the songs because Nulla can sing to nature. He sings to the fish. He sings to the cattle. That's how he gets them to stop running. But if you really, like, early on, when they first are sitting with the cattle and it's nighttime, Lady Ashley hears singing, and Drover tells her that, you know, oh, we sing to the cattle to keep them calm. And I know he was being like tongue in cheek about it, but also, you know, we sing to the cattle to keep them calm.
Yeah.
And so when Nulla is singing, it appears like he's using some form of like Aboriginal magic, because he's using his hands and everything. And you hear King George he's watching this all happen, and he's got his back. Nulla has his back to the gorge, to this cliff, and the cattle are just running after him. And he just watched Kipling Flynn just get trampled. And he's singing his song, and it does seem like it's a magical moment. But if what Drover said is true, the song calms the cattle, and they relate to that calmness. Would that have really stopped a freaking 20,000 head of cattle?
Idea.
I'm not sure. And I'm not saying that this, because again, I do believe in the magics of the world. So I'm not saying it wasn't a magic, but it could also be
a mundane
thing.
Sure.
But that's what I love about it, because it keeps the magic alive in him. But it is really, he didn't cry when his mom died. We don't see him crying.
Right.
But we see him break down at that moment. And that's when Nicole Kidman, you know, Lady Ashley goes over and grabs him and hugs on him. And you see Drover over her shoulder, and it's like this family vignette you almost get. And
for just a moment.
And that's really the turning point of the story, where it's no longer.
Well, because Drover cares now.
Mm-hmm.
Drover's invested himself in her and in the boy, and she's invested fully in the boy.
And not just the cattle, and not just the money.
And not just Drover.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have this family, strictly heterosexual family unit. Yeah. But we have this family unit, and it's the mark. It's the mark by which the caricatures and the humor falls away.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get into the serious aspects of the film.
It's almost like two different films.
Almost. I mean, I think that throughout the film, you're told over and over again, this is racism.
Mm-hmm.
This is racism. And that's good. But also there's levity, and it kind of entwines the entire thing very subtly. And then later, after that switch, what was levity is now become brevity.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes very serious. It becomes very thoughtful about what these characters are actually doing with their lives, what they're actually thinking. So you have this kind of montage of the drover droving.
Mm-hmm.
He comes back. He comes back to his lady wife, not a wife, but lady friend.
Because he says, "No one can fire me. No one can hire. No one can hire me. No one can fire me." He's basically
right. But he comes and goes. As he goes, he comes back. He races back to her.
Mm-hmm.
And they do this for a while, and you get the idea that it's been a while. And, I mean, considering he's out for like 3 to 6 months, obviously it's been a few years maybe.
Yeah, because it goes from 1939 to 1941. 41.
Yeah, so a few years. And after the montage of this, you get the serious sense of, well, he still hasn't been able to fully commit
Mm-hmm.
to being who she needs. And she hasn't fully committed to understanding what he's telling her.
Mm-hmm.
She keeps creating this family unit. And the breaking point is Nala and King George.
Mm-hmm.
Nala being, very excited and wanting to go on walkabout, which is part of their adulthood
Yeah, it's his
ceremony.
coming of age, yeah.
Right. So she's mad. She doesn't want him to go. And the drover's trying to explain he is not our son.
Mm-hmm.
And she's very pissed at this. And if you're just watching the movie and not really thinking about it, you're going, yeah, what the hell is wrong with him?
Mm-hmm.
But really, what the hell is wrong with her? Because he's not their son. You can love someone and not claim them as family.
Yes.
And he has a family. You can be protective of him. You can love him. You can care for him. But you have to accept the fact that he has living family who is saying, I'm taking him on walkabout.
Mm-hmm.
It's our culture, not yours.
Exactly.
You don't play a part in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Nala says it pretty well. He explains to her that he's going. He's not asking her permission.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling her that he's going to go.
Yeah.
And she's losing her mind. And that breaks her and the drover apart.
Yes.
Because the drover understands that this is not about them.
Yes.
But she doesn't.
No, she does not.
He seems like he's being harsh, but actually she's the one that's being
irrational about it.
Bad about it.
Yeah.
So I think that, that is the main thrust of this section of the film,
Mm-hmm.
is that she is trying to keep a family together that isn't, it's not supposed to be together.
No.
It's just not. And it's okay.
Not in the traditional sense.
Right. You can have, again, our family is all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
but we still love them. They still exist.
Mm-hmm.
Their family, we have kids all over the place.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be there with you. You cannot control everything. Children, believe it or not, my friends, listeners,
Mm-hmm.
children are not property.
They're little individuals.
You do not own them. When I say they are our children, I mean they're our children as in this is our son.
Yes.
This is our lake. This is our air. It is the air we breathe.
We raised them, but they are not property. They're not
Right.
I've also had the same coffee table for years, but that doesn't mean, I wouldn't compare my child to a coffee table.
Yeah, they're
I
not
own
property.
that,
So he has to go. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, it gets subverted by white men
Mm-hmm.
who, again, cause problems with their society.
Looking at you, Fletcher.
And Fletcher is the one who caused this to happen
Mm-hmm.
because he told the sheriff, or I guess sheriff. Is it sheriff?
Yeah, sheriff, whatever, police
the law
officer.
enforcement
Yeah,
officer
yeah.
to do this
Yes.
in order to force her to sell.
Yes, and she doesn't want to sell.
He needed leverage, and Nala is a good way to get it.
Because she had decided she was going to stay in Australia and not go back. So, funny fact, because you mentioned earlier when we were first watching the movie, you're like, my God, the budget on this film, because of how, the all the cinematography and the locations. Funny little fact is that at the time of this movie, Baz Luhrmann, he received $40 million from the Tourism Australia group. They partnered.
Yeah.
And he had created a 90-second come walkabout video that goes with this movie. And
Right.
it was, and the point of the movie, well, not the whole point of the movie. The whole point of the movie is racism and opening up people's eyes to this stolen generation. But he wanted the movie to do for Australia what Crocodile Dundee did to Australia, and which is why tourism Australia got involved.
Right.
And he so he had hoped that it would bring people into the country as tourists, much like I said, the same way Crocodile Dundee did. And maybe that was why he had David Gulpilil in it. Maybe. I'm not quite sure if that's the reason why.
Yeah.
I'm glad he did. David is a character that you see him in movies and you're like, I know that man, but you don't know his name because he plays Aboriginal person number 1 or whatever. The fact that he's got, names in these 2 movies, I love that.
So a few funny facts about this film that I found out in my research is that the drover was almost played by Russell Crowe.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, but Heath Ledger was also considered. Can you imagine baby Heath Ledger? That would have been weird.
Yeah, that might have been. 2008?
2008, he was still kind of baby.
He really kind of
he was very young for the part.
Yeah, but they would have probably found somebody else to play Lady Ashley then.
Maybe. I don't know. But it was weird. But The Dark Knight, of course, was when he was during that time, so... The horse flu outbreak caused major production delays.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there was an influenza that went through Australia all during the filming. And that's a problem when you have a lot of horses.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll notice that they're using the same horses over and over.
I loved Nola's horse. I think it was an Appaloosa, maybe not. Some type of painted pony. It was really cute.
They had to pause. They had to find out which animals were not affected,
and
then they could resume. But all the horses they had recovered.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It rained in the dry season.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So they were prepared for the dry season.
Mm-hmm.
But then it downpoured on them.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And Baz needed it to be brown and dusty, but then it rained everywhere. So he had to wait for months for it to dry out. And then,
Yeah.
You see how startling it is when Faraway Downs is suddenly green.
Oh, yeah. And you needed to have that startling,
right.
That little square of green.
But then he has no brown left.
Oh, no.
And then he originally, like I said, wanted to make Alexander the Great. But instead of that, you get this, which I think, personally, anyone can do Alexander the Great.
Oh,
That's fine. It's been done.
But this is a story not told.
This is the story that needed to be told because I think the Aborigine, they needed someone to tell the story in a way that conveyed something other than just, we exist and that's it. They gave... Nala is a mouthpiece.
Yes.
King George is a mouthpiece for...
Even Bandy and Daisy, because they are showing you the abuse that women were receiving as women of color.
But they're letting you know that this is... They're individuals within this. They're not just a people and you leave it at that and you just never look below the top level.
Yeah.
These are individual humans who are being affected adversely.
Yeah, and we didn't even get into the whole most likely, and I'm going to say this with squinted eyes, looking sideways, possible rape of Daisy.
Right.
That she was unwilling.
Yeah. Probably, yes. It's hard to know that, but sure.
Yeah.
You can assume very easily. Knowing that Brandon Walters never acted before is crazy because that kid was very good.
So good.
He did so well. He was really made to make this film.
My question is he's very young, and when he did this movie, and what I want to know is, was that his real dialect, or was that something that he was able to do? Which, if it was not his normal dialect, and he was able to do that, bless that little bugger.
I didn't see anything on this, but
no.
I hazard a guess that this is actually his...
I think it is.
His voice.
Which is also don't take that away from people just because it's not how you talk.
Tell you what, if you know, listeners, if this was his actual dialect, that was his actual voice, let us know, because surely there's some people in Australia that know the answers to this. That would be great to know.
That would be great to know, because again, if he was able to do it, bless him, because wow, that's not easy. And if it was his normal his dialect of how him and his people talk, then that's also beautiful, because that needs to be continued.
Yeah.
I love how they talk. I love the way they literally paint pictures with their words.
Yeah.
But the cheeky bulls.
I think it's important to play out the end of the movie.
Yes.
So in the final part of the movie, it is not about the white people.
Nope.
It involves the indigenous spirituality and the power of the place and belonging. And Nulla must answer a call that is much deeper than any of the grown-ups can fully understand. The ending is this bittersweet and beautiful scene because it's a love that doesn't end. He doesn't stop loving them. They don't stop loving him, but it transforms. It changes. And that is something we can apply to our own lives. Our love for our family changes. It doesn't stop, it transforms. The love for our friends, for the people that we know, that should be the way it is for everyone.
It really should.
So, just something to take away from the film. It should be more than just the romantic love. It should be more than just Australia. And it's more than the white people being bad or good. Even the bartender got involved.
I know. And he was a dick in the beginning, but yeah, he was
involved. Still a dick even at the end.
Because even at the end, he's like, I'll go get your bill. You know?
But that's the thing, is even he transformed. He didn't change who he was. He was still a dick.
Yes.
But he was a helpful dick. You know, so at least he was going to be helpful. So, how do you feel about this now?
I feel like it is still too long of a movie. Not too long in the sense that like it was boring, but like you don't expect it to keep going after they deliver the cattle. Like you maybe a little bit longer, but then there's like a whole other story.
Right.
Maybe a two-parter or something like that. Yeah. I still love it. I still love the characters. And again, Nulla, I love the story. I think I wasn't as aware of the historical significance of this movie. Whether it's accurate or not, I did not really fully appreciate that when I saw it. I knew it was, but it was more like I wanted to see Hugh Jackman. But I do now, knowing what I know, and my passion for other cultures being acknowledged and left the fuck alone.
Yeah.
It makes me love it even more. And it makes me want to cry. I hate how they did the series, which again, I appreciate that it was the cutscenes and it was the intentional ending, but I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like a sad. It needed to have the happy ending with the family.
Okay.
It just, for me, it needed it. I think if it would have, when I saw it with Faraway Downs and the way they had it ending, it was, I think, even more heartbreaking and almost uncomfortable. And I guess maybe that was the intention, but I did not like it. But that's just me.
And that was a different thing.
Yes. So yeah, I do. I still love it. And I still feel very, very strongly about this movie. And I will still tell people to watch it, even if it is 15 years long.
So for me, I think that I care about it more now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care so much for the romance. I'm not.
No, it's not that big of a...
I'm really not sold on the drover and the lady.
It's the pretty
The
people.
romance doesn't really do anything for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're needed to tell a bigger story. And that is why they're there.
Yes.
So for me, the romantic thing isn't really important.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to be happy, sure. But I think that the bigger story there is underneath that. And so I appreciate it for that. And I've talked extensively about it. So, I'm not going to keep going into why I liked it. But I appreciate it. I even appreciate the caricatures at the start because it allows you to grow into, much like in Strictly Ballroom, it allows you to grow into the characters. Remember in Strictly Ballroom, I don't find her appealing at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I grow to find her beautiful.
Because she's got
like a beautiful soul that just kind of grows out of the ground.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with them clearing up her skin or her hair or wearing makeup. It's because she's a beautiful person.
Right. You get the soul.
Yeah.
It grows up. It's like having this beautiful flower that's always in your garden, but never noticing it before.
Yeah.
And that is what this movie is like in a lot of ways. It allows you to see the worst part of something to get to the best part of something.
Mm-hmm.
Even the bad guy, he is so bad. And yet, without that, you don't feel the injustice. You don't feel the indignity of what is happening to the people, to the Aborigine people.
No, you don't.
So I think that is needed as well.
I think maybe based on what I was reading, some people were right about maybe they should have shown the homes that they lived in, the places where the people lived that were not white people. So that way you can get that aspect of it, the hovels.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
Sure. It would have been, but we spend a lot of time in a white town and
we do
on a plantation for all intents
and
purposes.
Yeah. And now it's time for the stitch count. We're running this film through the Castellini test, the inclusivity and gaze lens, and the Tremors gold standard to see how well it holds together. We'll tally it up and talk through where it shines or where it frays and decide whether the story actually makes something warm and communal or if the seams start to pull apart. So let's count the stitches.
This is going to be a huge quilt.
Oh, it's going to be massive.
So let's start with the Castellini test. There have to be at least 2 named women characters with at least 5 lines of dialogue each.
Okay. We have Kath, who is Fletcher's wife. We have, and there's other women who have names, but honestly don't remember all of them. But we have Bandy, we have Daisy, we have herself, Lady Sarah Ashley, the English Rose.
Yeah, so that passes.
Yep, and yeah.
Those characters must have a conversation, not necessarily with the other woman, either not about their partner or with their partner, future or current, and not about their relationship.
Nobody talks about relationships, except for Drover and
even they
Sarah.
Almost not at all.
Yeah.
They have a few fights about it, but they rarely talk about the relationship.
No, other than her being like, oh, you want to get with me in the beginning.
Just a few shrimp on the Barbie.
No.
I was gonna put
Cheech
that
Marin
in.
movie.
I love that movie, though. It is one of my, I won't say guilty pleasure because I don't feel guilty liking
don't
it.
feel guilty at all.
I love that movie.
It's so stupid, but yes.
It is stupid, and I love it.
I gotta have the stupid
You
movies.
should have won an Oscar.
It's Cheech Marin. I love Cheech Marin.
No, like an Oscar, like Oscar the Grouch. Little Oscar the Grouch would have been adorable. At least one of the women has to be integral to the plot, meaning that if she were written out of the film, it could not reach the same ending. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Oh, honestly, if it wasn't for Lady Ashley, none of them would have gotten. So if she hadn't come, then when Lord Ashley died, It would have gone to the King Carney.
Sure.
Nulla would have been shipped off to the island. Drover would have gone and drove and done his other things. And that
would he have been shipped off to the island because he wouldn't be there?
Well, he wouldn't be. He either would have been caught and shipped off to the island, or he would have gone walkabout with King George. And so either way, the rest of the movie would not have happened. It would not. The cattle would not have gotten. Kipling would still probably be dying of liver disease, not of being trampled by cattle. Daisy would be alive.
But does the film reach the same ending?
I mean, with Nulla going walkabout, maybe, yeah, if he doesn't get captured and brought to the island.
I mean, it's overall a film about Australia, not about these individual people.
Yeah.
So the film doesn't really get changed.
No, but I mean, like the little side quests of the movie would not have happened. But not the overall history of Australia.
Right.
I mean,
so without
the inaccuracies would not have happened.
Like her being there didn't change the cattle industry.
No, it did not change the cattle industry. But King Carney would have gotten the land. He would have gotten the
sure, but that wouldn't have
contract.
Changed anything about what was happening.
No.
So nothing necessarily would have changed.
Not
overall, not for the movie, but there is something to be said for it. Would it change the central story that they're supposing is the central, which is the romantic film about these two white people?
Yes, that would have changed, yes.
Okay.
So
we want to give it a pass for the Castellini?
I want to say yes, because it is historically inaccurate. And this and people aren't watching it for the history, unfortunately.
Okay. So the Castellini is really designed to kind of illustrate whether or not there's any feminism in the film.
Uh-huh.
I would say there is.
There is.
In the sense that, so if we take it at the value of, is it a feminist film? I don't think it's a feminist film. I think it highlights the issues.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a feminist film.
It's not, per se, even though Lady Ashley is doing what everyone told her she couldn't do, and she does go out there and drove with the cattle. She's riding, horseback riding. She's helping all of that. She is being a strong female individual. That is not necessarily something that was expected, because the other white women in the movie are getting their hair done. They're wearing the cute dresses and everything, and she's getting dirty, and has the relationship, which is not necessarily condoned in their society, because she's not married to the drover, but they're having the mad monkey sex. It is. I mean, that could be a feminist thing too, because she's negating all of the standards of the time.
Sure.
I don't know.
Anyway, I'm just saying that is something to think about. I think the Castellini passes, but just kind of
barely
iffy on the back one.
Yeah. No, I get that.
So let's look at inclusivity and gaze. These are a score of 0 to 1. It's either on or off, and there's 4 of them.
Yes.
Racial diversity with agency, not just background.
I think I'm going to say yes, because while they are background characters, they're not all background characters, because Nulla is not.
Well, they have agency, even if they are being maligned or marginalized by the people there. There are people that do. King George has agency.
Oh, yes, he does.
Is he accountable to a lot of laws that are unnecessary? Sure. But he does have agency within the film itself. Nala has agency.
Yes. Even to a lesser extent, Daisy and Bandy, because while they do have freedoms that they are afforded on the on the plantation, at the cattle station, they are, they still have to follow the rules of the white people, but they're still afforded that freedom of, she's not forcing them into anything. Like, she's not making.
They're servants, but they're paid servants.
Yeah. I mean, in the cook, he's, he's of Asian descent. I'm not going to say if he is Chinese or if he is
No
Japanese
idea.
because we're not really given that much
But he's
to
a
go
servant,
on.
and he's a paid servant.
Yes.
Yeah. So that gets one.
Mm-hmm.
It is fairly racially diverse. For Australia, I think that's pretty damn racially diverse.
Yes.
And number 2 is LGBTQ presence that isn't a punchline or tragedy. 0.
None. 0. There is no.
Other than Hugh Jackman being in the film.
Yeah, and even that's questionable.
Even that's questionable. Age, body type, or disability treated with dignity.
Honestly, I'm going to say it gets a point because they never once, there's nothing mentioned about, other than her being, they comment about her being pale.
Yeah, but everybody is, like, for instance, the big one here is when the drunk accountant gets on horseback and droves with the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
He is too big to be on a horse. First of all, he's going to hurt that horse.
That poor horse, yes.
But because there are weight limits to horses.
Oh, yeah,
people.
yeah.
I'm not just being critical of his body type, but they do not comment on his body.
Mm-hmm.
They worry about his health because he's a drunk.
Yeah, and Drover says he doesn't bring drunks on.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and even so, he still brings them. He still allows him to join.
Yeah.
Because he stops drinking for that time.
Yes.
That's why he smashed the bottle. So, age, body type, disability treated with dignity, I'm going to say yes. Because even Nala is treated like a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nala's young, but she treats him like her child, but not like a child.
Yes. Other than when she doesn't want him to go walk about, that's like the only time that she starts to put that whole, you're a kid thing on him.
Right. But her kid, not really a kid.
Yes.
Yeah. Camera gaze, not relentlessly sexualized or punitive.
I mean, there is an ass scene, but it's King George walking away. That is literally it. And it is not gaze in any way, shape, or form.
There is the boatman who put his hand firmly up Nicole Kidman's ass.
Yeah, to push her up off onto the...
he scooped. I mean, he put fingers in. I was like, what
the hell? But I mean, so I think that would be like the only... I mean, then they do... in the beginning with her underwear when like her suitcase opens up. But it's not, it's more of a joke, I feel. Again,
I think it's more of showing how rough the place is, and it's not focusing on her tits or her ass.
No.
Now, Hugh spends a lot of time without his shirt on.
Yeah, that is true.
But to be fair, he has layers and layers of fur. So technically it's not a bare chest. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that. I don't know why I went very okay.
Okay.
Anyway.
I forgot that he was, because he does scrub himself down and wash himself off. But I think also that was to get her to look at him. Like that scene
this is not focusing on his package or anything.
No. It was literally him shirtless and scrubbing down his chest with some soap and rinsing the soap off.
I think we're good on that.
Okay.
So we can give it a point. So I think it gets, 3 points?
Yep, 3 points.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Now we're going to talk about the trimmers index.
Ooh.
Is it below trimmers or fails the basics? Approaches trimmers or partial competence? Trimmers adjacent, solid, respectful, functional. Trimmers level, the gold standard, or exceeds trimmers. Rare, powerful, and intentional.
I don't know, this might be controversial, but I kind of want to say the gold standard. But I do love this movie, so I could be blind.
All right, so here are the levels of the gold standard or trimmers level index.
Mm-hmm.
Competence is distributed across gender, age, class, and personality.
Mm-hmm.
Women make critical decisions without comment or apology.
Okay.
The narrative assumes equality and moves on.
Okay.
Survival requires cooperation, not dominance. Damn it.
I know, it does. It fits the gold standard.
Yes, it's going to fit the gold standard. I don't know how it does, and I don't like that it does because of the Aboriginal content because they're obviously marginalized in this society.
Mm-hmm.
But within the context of the film in which
we're opening up,
we're talking about the group of people that it centers on, they all have an equality aspect. No one is commanding each other because they feel the other is inferior.
No, I mean, they don't want black people in the bar, and there is obviously, the way Fletcher treats the Aborigine people.
No, I'm talking about the core group of people, the family.
Nobody within that family treats anybody any differently. So again, and the people who do treat them poorly are the people who, it is opening that window to make people look at it, to see. They should have opened it up wider, maybe move the curtains a bit, shuffled the shade so we could have seen it even more clearly, but I think that was what it was going for.
But the survival required all of their cooperation, and no one took over any one aspect.
No.
The drover was in charge while they drove, but she was in charge while they were there, in the thing. They all cooperated with each other.
And when they separated, she's doing her thing.
Right.
And he's, they're separate, but they're still doing their part of it. And when they realize that that she's not dead, they're still cooperating together, working together.
I think that works. So what's our stitch count?
It is a 7 out of 9. We got 1 for Castellini, 3 for the gaze and inclusivity, and 3 for Tremors.
Okay.
If you would like to watch this movie, you're going to have to pay $3.99. It is available on YouTube, Google Play, Apple TV, Fandango at Home, and Amazon Prime. It said Tubi, but we did not verify that.
And it's often wrong.
Often wrong.
Well, thanks for joining us for Australia 2008. This has been Cozy Quilt Cinema with Beth and Michelle. We're glad you spent this time with us, sitting here in the outback with the kangaroos and the dingoes, which I don't think was in the film.
We didn't see any dingoes, but we saw a lot of kangaroos.
To keep the conversation going, you can find us on Instagram and Blue Sky at Cozy Quilt Cinema, or email us at cozyquiltcinema@gmail.com. Or you can find Cozy Quilt Cinema wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're enjoying the show, subscribe or leave a rating. It's a huge help. It means a lot to us. Also, it keeps the lights on for our cat who's been purring through this entire
thing. Could not get him out of my lap. He kept coming back.
He's not even facing the right way.
Nope. I've got his butt in my lap right now, but his head's over there. Okay. So here are our clues for our next episode. This was hard for me to come up with clues before because honestly it would give so much away. But here we go. One character shares the name of one of the very first SNL performers, and their song is heard in the background of the movie in one scene. One actor was 8 years older than her character and 7 years younger than the actor playing their mom. And for my third clue, Chevy Chase was considered, but he didn't deny it. He was denied the role because the person who produced this movie had banned him from being in anything that he did. So those are your clues. Okay, so I'm really looking forward to that movie next week.
I am too, because this run me out.
Yeah, the next one's gonna be lighter, guys. So there's that. Okay, so we said we weren't gonna let this one be long, but we lied.
It went very long.
But until next time,
see you at the movies.
Doug!
Oh, wait, is that TM?
Oh, I don't know what that.
See you at the movies.
that might be.
Might be TM.
Oh well.
Doug.
I couldn't think of any other catch line. Cheeky Bowls.
There you go. That'll do it. Cheeky Bowls.
Bye.
Today we honour the Indigenous peoples of this land, the oldest continuing cultures in human history. We reflect on their past mistreatment. We reflect in particular on the mistreatment of those who were stolen generations, this blemished chapter in our national history. The time has now come for the nation to turn a new page in Australia's history by righting the wrongs of the past and so moving forward with confidence to the future. We apologise for the laws and policies of successive parliaments and governments that have inflicted profound grief, suffering and loss on these our fellow Australians. We apologise especially for the removal of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children from their families, their communities and their country, for the pain, suffering and hurt of these stolen generations, their descendants and for their families left behind, we say sorry. To the mothers and the fathers, the brothers and the sisters, for the breaking up of families and communities, we say sorry. And for the indignity and degradation thus inflicted on a proud people and a proud culture, we say sorry. We, the Parliament of Australia, respectfully request that this apology be received in the spirit in which it is offered, as part of the healing of the nation. For the future, we take heart, resolving that this new page in the history of our great continent can now be written. We today take this first step by acknowledging the past and laying claim to a future that embraces all Australians. A future where this Parliament resolves that the injustices of the past must never, never happen again. A future where we harness the determination of all Australians, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, to close the gap that lies between us and life expectancy, educational achievement and economic opportunity. A future where we embrace the possibility of new solutions to enduring problems where old approaches have failed. A future based on mutual respect, mutual resolve and mutual responsibility. A future where all Australians, whatever their origins, are truly equal partners with equal opportunities and with an equal stake in shaping the next chapter in the history of this great country, Australia.